There is a quiet prison that holds millions of people hostage, not with bars, not with chains, not with locks, but with the illusion of perfection. They call it being a perfectionist. They wear it like a badge. They whisper it as if it's a curse. But here's the truth that will shake your soul if you let it in. You are not a perfectionist. You are afraid of your own power. Because perfection is not the pursuit of excellence. It is the camouflage of fear. It is the mask worn by potential, hiding from the responsibility of becoming more. We don't procrastinate because we care too much. We procrastinate because we're terrified that we might finally become what we were born to be. Perfection is a wall we build brick by brick to shield ourselves from success. Because deep down, success means responsibility. Success means being seen. It means being criticized. It means rising so high that the fall could kill you. And most people would rather stay safe in the shadows than step into that kind of light. But let me tell you this. There is no such thing as a perfect time. There is no such thing as a perfect plan. There is only a perfect moment, and it's the one you keep ignoring. The one that whispers, "Start now." The one that screams, "Go anyway." You've been telling yourself you need more time, more clarity, more preparation. But time does not grant permission. Clarity does not come before action. And preparation is just fear with good intentions. Walt Disney was not prepared when he was fired for lack of imagination. Henry Ford was not prepared when his first automobile company collapsed. Thomas Edison was not prepared when he failed over 1,000 times to invent the light bulb. They were not ready. They were not perfect. But they were willing. That's the difference. And right now, while you wait to be ready, life is passing you by. Someone less qualified is living your dream. Someone with less talent is signing your deal. Someone with more courage is becoming what you're still planning to be. The world does not reward potential. It rewards execution. You are not lacking time, you are leaking it. You are not lost, you are stalling. You are not a perfectionist, you are powerful, and you're scared to death of what that means. Because once you accept your power, excuses die. Once you embrace your greatness, hiding is no longer an option. Once you step forward, you cannot unsee who you really are. You were not made to edit your life until it fits into someone else's comfort zone. You were not made to shrink, to delay, to overthink, to analyze your passion into paralysis. You were made to move. And not perfectly, but relentlessly, passionately, boldly. Success is not a destination, it's a decision. The decision to trust the work before the outcome. The decision to believe in progress over polish. The decision to act, not because you're unafraid, but because you are done being owned by fear. This is not about motivation. This is about liberation. From the chains of your own expectations. From the weight of your past. From the lie that says you must be flawless to be worthy. Greatness is not born from perfection. It is carved out of the wreckage of imperfect action. Abraham Lincoln lost multiple elections before becoming one of history's greatest leaders. Oprah was told she was unfit for television. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company. None of them were perfect, but all of them were powerful because they showed up. And that's what you must do. Show up. In your brokenness, in your brilliance, in your unfinished, unpolished, beautiful mess. Because that mess is where the masterpiece is born. Not in your hesitation. Not in your delay. But in your decision to be fully alive. You've been told to wait until the stars align. But stars don't align, they are set on fire. And so must you be. Burn for your vision. Burn for your purpose. Burn for the life that keeps calling you from the inside out. There is no perfection waiting for you. Only power. Unfiltered. Unapologetic. And it's been waiting, not to be perfected, but to be accepted. So stop chasing the illusion of flawlessness and start embracing the truth of your capability. You don't need more time. You need more truth. You've been walking with your head down, looking for answers in the dirt, when the fire is in your chest. You've been asking for a sign. This is it. This is your permission. To leap. To speak. To build. To create. To risk. To lead. Not because you're ready, but because you're willing. It is not the strongest who rise. It is not the smartest. It is the ones who dare to start before they're certain. You've been lied to. Told to wait for clarity, told to wait for confidence. But confidence is not a prerequisite. It is a result. It is built through motion, through mistakes, through the sacred friction of doing. Every visionary you admire once sat in silence wondering if they were crazy. Wondering if the dream was too big, too wild, too much. And then they moved anyway. They put pen to paper. They made the call. They faced the room. And the world rearranged itself around their audacity. You think your fear is a sign you're not ready. But fear is not your enemy. It's proof you are standing on the edge of power. Because power always comes with resistance. And the size of your fear often measures the size of the life waiting for you on the other side. But here's the dangerous part, the part most people never escape. You've convinced yourself that perfection is noble. That obsessing over the details somehow proves you care. That rewriting, reworking, reimagining for the 100th time means you're aiming higher. But in truth, perfectionism is a seductive stall. It is the ego's last stand before surrender. It tells you that if you just plan a little longer, if you just polish a little more, then you can avoid failure altogether. But avoiding failure is also avoiding flight. The Wright brothers didn't wait to perfect their blueprint. They crashed. They rebuilt. They crashed again. And eventually, they flew. Because that's how flight works. That's how freedom is born, from failed attempts, not flawless designs. You think you're holding out for excellence. But excellence doesn't come from hesitation. It comes from momentum. And momentum starts with motion. One step, one action, one messy, imperfect, glorious attempt. That's all it takes to disrupt gravity. You were born with wings. But wings mean nothing unless you jump. And if you wait for perfection before you leap, you'll die on the cliff with feathers still folded. You've got to stop worshipping potential like it's an identity. Potential is a seed, not a trophy. It means nothing if you don't plant it. How many times have you had the idea and did nothing? How many dreams have come to you in the silence of the night, only to be drowned by daylight doubts? How many moments have you watched other people live the life you keep designing in your mind? Not because you weren't good enough, but because you were too afraid to test your greatness. Stop waiting for the perfect script. You are the script. Stop waiting for the camera to roll. You are the film. Stop waiting for someone to cast you. You are the main character of your own damn life. And the world is waiting for your performance. You think the world is judging you. But the world is starving for authenticity. It doesn't need your perfect version. It needs your real one. It needs the trembling voice that speaks anyway. The hand that creates despite the shaking. The heart that shows up with the scars still visible. That is the kind of power that changes things. Because people don't follow perfection, they follow truth. They follow courage. They follow light. And light isn't always polished. Sometimes it flickers. Sometimes it struggles. But even a flickering flame is enough to ignite a revolution. So burn. Burn for what you believe. Burn for what calls you in the quiet. Burn for the life that will never come if you keep waiting to be flawless. You are not here to decorate the world with potential. You are here to disturb it with purpose. And yes, people will criticize. They will misunderstand. They will mock. But their words mean nothing unless you surrender to them. Remember this. No one throwing stones is doing more than you. And no one ahead of you has time to throw them. Criticism is the tax you pay for playing big. Perfectionism is the price you pay for staying small. But greatness is earned through scars. Through rejections. Through long nights, lost sleep, broken plans, shattered illusions, and forward motion anyway. You must decide what matters more, looking flawless or living free. Because you can't have both. You can't keep running from the mirror and expect to build a legacy. You can't keep hiding behind drafts and expect to write a story worth reading. You can't keep editing your existence and expect to be remembered. The only way to touch lives is to let yours be touched. By risk. By failure. By growth. By glory. And that starts when you stop pretending perfection is the goal. The goal is impact. The goal is evolution. The goal is to leave the world breathless because you finally stopped holding back. Do you hear that? That ache in your spirit? That pull in your chest? That's not anxiety. That's your soul knocking on the inside of your ribcage, begging to be set free. Answer it. Because the cost of waiting is not safety, it's regret. And regret is the heaviest weight a human heart can carry. You think there's time. You think you have years to get it right. But time is not infinite. It doesn't wait for your confidence. It doesn't wait for your perfect moment. It doesn't care if you're scared. The clock is always ticking. And while you hesitate, life is choosing someone else, someone bold enough to move with shaky hands and an unready heart. You see, the battlefield of life doesn't belong to the perfect. It belongs to the present. The ones who show up. The ones who bleed in public. The ones who dare to be seen even when they're not complete. You've forgotten that the world isn't looking for untouchable gods. It's looking for the brave. The real. What if I told you that your fear of being judged is just fear of being powerful? Because once they see your power, you can't go back. Once you awaken it, everything changes. No more hiding. No more pretending. No more shrinking to make others comfortable. When you embrace your power, mediocrity becomes unbearable. And that's what you're afraid of. You're not afraid of failing. You're afraid of becoming so great that the old version of you dies. You're afraid that if you rise, the people around you will start looking at you differently. That they'll expect more. That you'll expect more. And maybe you won't be able to handle it. But let me make something crystal clear. You can. You were built for greatness, but you've been rehearsing limitation. You've been acting like you're fragile. Like your spirit can't take the heat. Like your heart would break if you really tried. But you're stronger than your story. Stronger than your upbringing. Stronger than the voices in your head telling you to wait just a little longer. You don't need another affirmation. You don't need another strategy. You need to remember who the hell you are. You are a creator. A builder. A force. You were made to shape worlds, not wait for permission. There is no applause in hesitation. There is no legacy in perfectionism. Every statue, every invention, every revolution was born in the tension between fear and movement. You're standing in that space now. And you must choose. Will you keep polishing a dream that no one sees? Or will you unleash it? Will you keep guarding your gifts with silence? Or will you let the world be interrupted by your existence? Because that's what your power does, it interrupts. It breaks patterns. It wakes people up. It confronts them. And most of all, it confronts you. It forces you to stop negotiating with mediocrity. You've been trying to balance it all. Trying to keep your dreams quiet enough not to scare your fears. But dreams are not meant to be balanced. They are meant to consume you. They are meant to drag you out of bed at 3 a.m. with your heart pounding, your soul on fire, your hands itching to build. That's why you can't sleep. That's why you feel restless in rooms that don't see you. That's why nothing feels fulfilling, not because you're too ambitious, but because you're still playing too small. You've been trying to edit a divine calling into a human comfort zone. And that is why you're suffering. It's not perfectionism. It's spiritual suppression. Because when power is trapped, it festers. It turns into anxiety. It turns into depression. It turns into overthinking, self-sabotage, addiction to plans, obsession with optics. But when you release it, when you move, when you act, when you step, it transforms. It becomes purpose. It becomes clarity. It becomes momentum. Action is the medicine. Not because it makes you perfect, but because it sets you free. You keep asking for clarity, for alignment, for signs. But the truth is, clarity is not given. It's earned. Through movement. Through effort. Through motion that builds meaning. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to take the next step. And then the next. And then the next. Like Martin Luther King Jr. once said, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. You keep looking for the top of the mountain. But mountains are climbed with one trembling foot at a time. And yes, you'll slip. Yes, you'll get tired. Yes, people will doubt you. But remember, they're watching from the base while you're rising. Let them talk. Let them laugh. Let them question you. But don't let them stop you. Because nothing is more painful than dying with your gift still locked inside you. You were not born to repeat history. You were born to make it. You were not born to imitate. You were born to innovate. You were not born to get it perfect. You were born to get it done. That dream inside you, the one that keeps whispering when the world is quiet, it's not random. It's not fantasy. It's instruction. It's divine assignment. And it's waiting for you to move. Not someday. Not when it's perfect. Not when you're ready. Not later. Not when they believe in you. Not when you feel confident. Not when the timing is perfect. Because here's what they don't tell you. You don't build a powerful life by thinking. You build it by becoming. You don't sculpt your destiny by rehearsing your fears. You sculpt it by defying them, loudly, publicly, relentlessly. There is no more preparation to do. You've been sharpening your sword for years, through heartbreak, rejection, false starts, and failure. And now, it's time to fight. Because the battlefield is not out there. It's inside you. It's the voice that says, "What if you're not good enough?" It's the whisper that says, "Wait a little longer." It's the echo of everything they said to shrink you into something they could understand. But they don't have to understand your vision. It was not given to them. It was given to you. So stop looking for approval from people who are committed to playing small. Stop editing your voice so you can stay digestible to those who have never tasted greatness. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be legendary. And legends do not wait. They do not blend in. They do not bow to fear disguised as logic. They move. They speak. They act. And if you think greatness feels safe, let me destroy that lie right now. Greatness is terrifying. Greatness is isolating. Greatness is stepping out in front of the crowd, alone, heart pounding, eyes locked on the vision that only you can see. But it is worth it. Every tear. Every doubt. Every lonely morning where you rise before the sun, wondering if this is all for nothing. It's not for nothing. Because the world does not change until someone like you refuses to wait. Look at every revolutionary who ever lived. Do you think they waited until they felt perfect? Do you think they had all the answers? Do you think they were fearless? They were simply done living beneath their potential. They were done asking permission. They were done lying to themselves about who they were born to be. And now it's your turn. No more hiding behind, "I'm still working on it." No more posting drafts and never launching. No more reading books and never writing your own. No more comparing, copying, doubting, deleting, restarting. You are not a machine. You are a masterpiece. Unfinished? Maybe. But that doesn't make you unworthy. Because the Mona Lisa didn't start beautiful. The Empire State Building didn't begin with a skyline view. Every cathedral was once dust and doubt. And so were you. But that dust is your raw material. That doubt is your map. That ache in your chest, it's not anxiety. It's your higher self waking up, stretching, ready to build. And if you silence it long enough, it will go quiet. That's the tragedy. Too many people die with their masterpiece unwritten because they worshipped perfection and feared their own strength. They thought the world wanted flawlessness. But the world wants truth. And the truth is, you are capable of more than you dare to admit. More than your family told you. More than your teachers believed. More than society conditioned you to become. Because somewhere deep down, beneath all the fear and noise and hesitation, is a soul that remembers. Remembers what it came here to do. Not to impress, but to impact. Not to fit in, but to stand apart. You were not put on this earth to meet expectations. You were put here to defy them. And when you do, you will lose people. You will lose comfort. You will lose sleep. But you will gain yourself. And that is the trade. That is the fire. That is the price of power. And when it comes down to it, you only have two choices in this life. You can be trapped by the myth of perfection. Or you can be liberated by your own courage. There is no in-between. Every day, you are either stepping closer to your greatness or stepping back into your fear. And if you wait until you're no longer afraid, you'll never move. You must walk forward with trembling hands and a warrior heart. That's how strength is forged. Do not fear your fear. It is not a stop sign. It is a spotlight. It shows you where your power lives. It reveals the edge. And the edge is where miracles are born. So run toward it. Run with doubt in your lungs. Run with fire in your gut. Run with the sound of your ancestors behind you and your future calling your name. Because the pain of effort will never outweigh the agony of what if. And the day you stop chasing perfection is the day you start chasing purpose. Purpose. It doesn't whisper. It roars. But only to the ones brave enough to stop silencing it. And once you hear it, once you truly hear that inner voice rising like thunder, you will never be able to live a quiet life again. You will not rest in mediocrity. You will not find peace in the sidelines. You will not be satisfied following the rules written by men who never dared to break their own. Because purpose ruins comfort. It makes ordinary things feel unbearable. It makes shallow conversations feel like poison. It makes waiting feel like dying. And that's when you know you've outgrown the shell you've been living in. You are not a perfectionist. You are a wild force, trapped in the straitjacket of your own expectations. But the seams are tearing now. You can feel it. That subtle quake in your bones, it's your power returning. You are no longer made for the slow drip of potential. You are made for the flood, the surge, the eruption. You are not meant to be admired. You are meant to be remembered. And not for how perfect you look doing nothing, but for how radically, how fiercely, how unapologetically you showed up for the fire burning inside you. Because when your time here ends, and it will, no one will care if your website was polished. No one will care if your voice shook on stage. No one will remember the version of you that hid behind excuses. They will remember your courage, your conviction, your decision to rise. And hear me now deeply. Legacy is not what you build when the world finally believes in you. Legacy is what you build when you believe in yourself before the world ever claps. When you step out with all your flaws. When you move forward with all your doubts. When you give everything even when you're unsure anyone will notice. That is power. That is freedom. That is the moment you stop existing and start living. No more perfection. No more hiding in drafts and rehearsals and endless, "I'm not ready yet." You are ready. Because readiness is not a feeling. It's a choice. And right now, this second, this breath, you have everything you need to choose. To choose fire over fear. To choose movement over perfection. To choose your highest self, not your safest one. There is a power in you that the world has yet to witness. And the longer you delay, the longer we all go without your medicine. Because yes, your gift is medicine. It's healing for someone out there praying for exactly what you've been too afraid to share. This is not about you anymore. This is about impact. About legacy. About what you leave behind long after your name is forgotten, but your work lives on. You think playing small protects you. But playing small betrays you. Because inside you is a cathedral, and you've been living like you're a closet. Inside you is a storm, and you've been moving like a breeze. But storms don't apologize. And neither should you. Tear the roof off your silence. Burn the script of your fear. Shatter the glass ceiling of your excuses. There will never be another you. Never. Not again. Not ever. So don't let this one, precious, powerful life be edited into something forgettable. Speak. Let your voice crack. Let your hands shake. Let your knees buckle under the weight of your own boldness. And then stand taller than you've ever stood before. Because you are not a perfectionist. You are power in human form. And the world has waited long enough to feel your full force. Now is the time. Not next month. Not when you feel ready. Not when they finally see your worth. Walk into your brilliance like it's already yours. Speak your truth like it's oxygen. Move like your soul is on fire, because it is. And never again mistake fear for a sign to stop. It is only ever a signal that what you're about to do matters. You don't owe the world perfection. You owe it authenticity. You owe it action. You owe it the one thing no one else can ever give. So rise. With trembling hands and a blazing heart. And do not stop. Do not look back. Do not shrink, edit, or apologize. The time for hiding is over. The time for becoming has begun.